Tonight, concern is expressed as government embarks on a phased reopening of commercial activity. Schools to reopen digitally on the 20th of April. And the fundraising COVID-19 telethon brings in over $2 million worth of pledges to assist frontline workers. The details of these stories and more are coming up.
This is the Hot 7 Nightly News with Loveless and Amy Joseph.
Good night. It is Tuesday, the 14th of April, 2020. Welcome to the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. We're on Flow, Channel 117. The broadcast is also being simulcast on KISS FM. I'm Lovely St. Amy Joseph. Thank you for joining us. On Tuesday, the 14th of April, it seemed like all was back to normal on the streets of the capital, Castries. After a partial and then 24-hour lockdown, it was as if life was breathed back into the city. But this posed a major concern for some, given that St. Lucia does not have an all-clear for COVID-19. The island remains on partial shutdown until the 26th of April. Some say the relaxing of COVID-19 protocols has been taken by the public as a sign that there is no more danger. That, concerned citizens argue, is dangerous.
I don't feel that the government should have opened the place as yet. Give an extension maybe up to month end because we're already halfway of the month. Give up to month end and see what will really happen. Because imagine the supermarket, they announce it open and look at what is going on at my back there. People refuse to take the line and to maintain the distance. And I feel so far, the way that we have been handling that, not a death yet. I believe St. Lucian should just continue like that, just be a little patient and wait until month end. So I don't believe what government did there is the best thing. Because people have clothes. I can understand there are those who want to repair their homes and so on. So they try to get one, two little materials. But to have the town open, people still finding themselves grouped up together.
There are protocols that guide how businesses operate during the continued partial shutdown, and social distancing measures are a requirement. The Prime Minister had warned that businesses that do not conform to the protocols would be shut down. And on Tuesday, we received information that one call center in the north did, in fact, have to be shut down. But we'll end with a montage of the streets of Castries on Tuesday, the 14th of April.
I win the lottery, nothing can worry me as I look at my life and see all the signs. I'm glad for the little things, thanks for the little things. I can open my fridge and have something to eat. Some people can't do that. I can knock off my eye and have somewhere to sleep. Some people can't do that. I feel so grateful, happy and able. At the end of the day, it may be hard at first, regret is even worse. You take the stress in, turn them into blessing. These are the little things, thanks for the little things. Opportunity to give myself a treat. Some people can't do that. I can kick off my shoes, relax, put up my feet. Some people can't do that. It may be simple, but I'm happy and grateful. At the end of the day, on my knees, I pray. At the end of the day, I go down on my knees, I pray. Thank you, Jaja. At the end
the city centre definitely teeming with activity after practically being like a ghost town for a couple of days. Now, as you heard, the government of St. Lucia has embarked upon a phased reopening of the island. Prime Minister Alan Chastanet gave the go-ahead for hardware and some variety stores to reopen alongside essential services as part of the partial shutdown that has been extended to the 26th of April. The government is hoping to fully reopen commercial activity come the 26th. Minister Alan Chastanet struck a cautiously optimistic tone when he addressed the nation on Sunday. He indicated that the government is keeping the partial shutdown in place until the 26th of April, but he is hopeful that by then the country can go back to normal operations. During his address, he gave the go-ahead for hardware stores and household variety stores to resume operations as of Tuesday, the 14th of April.
Cabinet has agreed to maintain the existing partial shutdown, scale-down operations for the period of April 14th until April 26, 2020. We've agreed to expand the activities under the hardware service as well as home suppliers to include emergency renovation and maintenance activities at the household level to facilitate water storage, plumbing maintenance in preparation for the drought alert. This is to help you be able to get access to the materials that you would need to be able to continue repairing your own homes, as well as preparing your home for the drought, and certainly preparing your home for the upcoming hurricane season. We have the hardware service will also include home suppliers and activity stores such as S&S, Voyager, and Flavia. Those companies will apply through the Ministry of Commerce, and the Ministry of Commerce will work with the Ministry of Health as well as the Ministry of Security to make sure that they're fully aware of the expected protocols.
The Prime Minister says suspension of service and the imposition of an extended curfew are some of the repercussions that will be brought to bear on the commercial sector if social distancing and other protocols are violated. Cabinet has agreed to appoint a committee to work with the private sector and public health departments for the anticipated full operation of commercial activity on island.
I'm indicating to you we're putting a plan in place, but we have not implemented that as yet. We are going to maintain the partial shutdown until April 26. And at that point, we're hoping to be able to announce the full opening of the commercial activities in St. Lucia. But again, that's going to depend on the results over the next couple of days, as well as the recommendation of the command center in doing so. But we certainly want to start preparing ourselves for the possibility of being able to open up all commercial activities in St. Lucia.
To be clear, the 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. national curfew remains in effect until the 26th of April.
Let's use the time wisely, as the CMO indicated. This is not another reason to continue liming in town. And I know that many of us like to do that, but please come out from your homes, get your job done, and go back home and continue to enjoy the benefit of your family time. And let's use this time wisely because it may never come back again that we can spend this amount of time with our loved ones.
The Prime Minister said the COVID-19 response thus far has been incredible, and he indicated that he is proud of the way that St. Lucians navigated this challenging time, including the previous 7-day, 24-hour lockdown. Now, the Ministry of Commerce, International Trade, Investment, Enterprise Development and Consumer Affairs is advising manufacturers and owners of home and convenience stores who produce and sell essential items to visit the website www.commerce.gov.lc for the application form and other relevant documents to seek permission for business operation. Permission has been granted for hardware stores to commence operation from Tuesday, the 14th of April. All businesses, including hardware stores, must adhere to the administrative and in-store operational protocols issued by the Ministry of Health. A copy is available on the Ministry of Commerce's website. Today, Tuesday, St. Lucia continues on a 10-hour curfew from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. daily. Some of the national protocols which apply to this include remain at home, leaving only for food or medical purposes, avoid mass crowd events and social gatherings, practice physical distancing, and good personal hygiene. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Sharon Belmar George urges responsible behavior and adherence to protocols.
The public is also advised against going to public places with flu-like symptoms, including fever, coughing, and sneezing. When visiting the supermarket or public places, refrain from touching items unless you intend to purchase them. Essential service workers and the elderly are granted time for grocery shopping to facilitate their timely return to their posts and homes respectively. The public is asked to exhibit patience while these segments of our population are being served.
One of the recommendations is the use of a face mask or scarf when going to public places like supermarkets. The face mask or scarf may be used for source control by reducing potential exposure risk from infected people during the pre-symptomatic period. For face masks to be effective in reducing infection, they must be used properly. Dr. Belmar George gave some basic guidelines.
Ensure that the mask is clean before its use. Wash your hands with soap and water or alcohol-based hand sanitizer before touching the mask. The mask should be held by the ties or the loops only. The coverings should be fit, and they should be fit tightly but comfortably to allow for breathing without restrictions. Do not touch your eyes, your nose, or your mouth when the mask is on your face and when removing the mask. Cloth masks should be washed daily after use. Do not place the mask on the forehead or below the chin. Do not remove the masks to talk and to quarrel.
Dr. Belmar George has informed that as of the 14th of April 2020, St. Lucia has a total of 15 confirmed cases of COVID-19. Follow-up tests were also conducted on the confirmed cases in care, and to date, a total of 11 of the confirmed 15 COVID-19 patients have recovered. Presently, there are 25 people in quarantine and 20 in isolation. In her address to the nation on Sunday, Minister for Education, Dr. Gail Rigobert, announced that the third academic term would be completed electronically. During the week of Tuesday, the 14th, teachers and principals are expected to get up to ensure e-classes and lessons are available for students to access by the 20th of April, which is when school will reopen, but virtually. Genevieve Gonzague tells us more.
Schools on island were forced to close early amid rising fears of COVID-19 from the 16th of March to the 13th of April. School is to recommence with the third academic term on April 20th after a 4-week break. The mode of learning will switch from an interactive face-to-face class setting to a virtual setting. Minister with responsibility for education, Dr. Gail Rigobert, says the third term will focus on digital education.
The third term will be a learning from home term. On the instruction front, what is being proposed by the ministry assumes a multifaceted approach or blended learning or teaching modality using a mix of media including television, radio, and online platforms, activity sheets, and student textbooks. Interventions will be differentiated based on grade levels and forms. In the coming days, the ministry will advise on the protocol for collection of activity sheets and textbooks which would have remained at some schools.
The Education Minister says, while it is proposed that electronic means are utilized, the government is not naive to the fact that many students, and in some cases even teachers, do not have the required gadgets or skills to ensure this suggestion is smoothly executed.
We recognize the following. 1, that the ministry needs to facilitate the training of teachers in the use of online teaching tools and techniques for engaging students in a virtual space. 2, that the ministry needs to equip teachers with the requisite technological tools. 3, that the ministry must seek to enhance connectivity of teachers and students through collaboration with benevolent corporate partners such as the telecommunications companies and NTRC. 4, that the ministry must make some provision for students who are not technologically proficient, do not have access to technological tools, nor have connectivity at home. And 5, that there must be some support for parents and students who may encounter difficulty.
The ministry is currently compiling information that will be used to inform corporate stakeholders to aid with the implementing of the proposed interventions. Many teachers have indicated that they have no devices to partake in an online learning forum, and as such, teachers are therefore being urged to complete the surveys being circulated to ensure that an accurate representation of those in need is presented to the ministry. The minister says the underprivileged students have not been forgotten, and as such, these students will be provided with some sort of nutritional support while at home.
It is a fact that our vulnerable students are extremely disadvantaged in this environment. They are not only challenged by the lack of devices and access, but also they are currently missing out on the meals they would have otherwise gotten while in the physical school setting. To this end, the Department of Education has partnered with other agencies to ensure that this segment of our school population receives some form of nutritional support while at home.
Parents of students in secondary schools are encouraged to ensure students use the email addresses sent to them by the various schools in order to access the Google Classrooms or suites. Parents are reminded that common entrance exams are currently being revised to ensure it is aligned with the areas of the curriculum taught in grade 5 and first term of grade 6. No new concepts will be introduced for this period. Rather, the focus is on topics that have been dealt with in previous terms. Parents, therefore, won't have to contend with teaching new topics. CXC has indicated that all testing will be done via digital or e-testing mode. With reference to CAPE or CSEC exams, the government has agreed to proceed with the option of exams in September to October 2020. The marking of school-based assessments will take place between September and November, and results will be published in December. Families are being encouraged to make use of activities that can be found on the Ministry of Education webpage. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. Still to come, 758, 759 and now 760 take over the internet. The COVID-19 telethon proves to be a resounding success, raising $2.5 million for frontline workers. And the fire service says its resources are stretched exponentially during this COVID-19 crisis. Hear how they're coping. That and more coming up after the break.